Welcome to a very special edition of the Friday Night Campfire Stories. My name is Rob and I will be your host for this video. It is a very special episode because I have the pleasure and excitement in letting you guys know that my new book, The Hollow Season, is officially out now on Amazon. It is packed with 6 of the scariest stories that you will read all year. This book has been such an amazing step in my journey to become a writer. I started a little over a year ago and released my book Whisper in the Shadows last November, and although I always stand by my stories and I'm proud of the stories that I wrote, you can definitely tell that was written by somebody that was definitely a rookie in writing. Whisper in the Shadows had incredible stories like Hexenshire, Confinement, and DONUM, but looking back, the stories in the book definitely lacked depth and character development that it desperately needed. I followed it up last spring with releasing A Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, and for that project I was so obsessed with having this giant book, but I was a little too obsessed with it. The stories were amazing, included some of my favorite stories I've written so far, including Astral, Perspective, and Villain, but it didn't read like a normal book. For me, like I said, it was all about having this giant book. And with that, I also put a lot of extra details or repeated some stuff in there which made the book longer, yes, but at the same time, it didn't really need to be there, and it did kind of drag the book down a little bit. I mean, still, I think the stories were great. There were some definite things I needed to work on in my journey. But that's led me to this point where I'm releasing my first book that I'm 100% confident in releasing, called The Hollow Season. It is some of the scariest work of the horror genre in a long time, and if you're an avid reader or a fan of horror, I would definitely recommend picking up a copy from Amazon today. Also, celebrating the launch of my new book, I want to do a giveaway. So right here on this video, if you subscribe, like, and comment, you'll be entered in for a chance to win a free signed copy. To further your chances to win a free signed copy, I'm also doing a giveaway on my TikTok page. So head over to @FridayCampfire on TikTok to find out how you can enter there as well, so you can have multiple chances to win a free signed copy. I will be announcing both winners next Wednesday on my episode of Far From Fiction. Now I want to take a deeper look into the 6 stories that will be included in my book, The Hollow Season. First up, we have the sequel to my Halloween horror story, Hexenshire, in Hexenshire 2. If you've not read or heard the first story of Hexenshire, it's not 100% necessary, but it also wouldn't hurt to hear it. It's a part of my first book that I released, Whisper in the Shadows, which is also available on Amazon, or you can listen to it for free right here on my YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys to be able to just click on it and watch the full video now. Hexenshire 2 follows the events of the previous Halloween, where young Myers was targeted by the darkness for the entirety of Halloween. This year, we patiently wait to see if it will return, or if the darkness is gone for good. The first story of Hexenshire was such a great story. It definitely lacked character development, given that is a story that I plan on spanning out over many years. I feel like a lot of the side characters that will be spotlighted throughout the series may have not had a prominent role. But I made sure in Hexenshire 2 that I was able to build the friend group more and also create an environment that all readers will fully enjoy and be ready for years to come, and patiently wait for that story to come out every single year. Hexenshire 2 is the most perfect story that I've released so far. It'll make you scared, it'll make you scream, it'll make you emotional. It's truly a story that revolutionizes the Halloween horror genre, and it's one that you're not going to want to miss. The second story that I have is called Home. Home follows Sam, who purchases an old rundown home with the hope of remodeling it and turning it into a dream home that he will spend the rest of his life in and eventually raise a family in. Home, without a doubt, is one of the scariest stories that I've released so far, but it has a bigger message to convey to readers. It's actually a very personal story that will showcase some of the struggles that I've been faced with in my life. It's a dark and terrifying story that, even when reading the final draft, made me realize how scary it truly was. And that's coming from me, the guy who actually wrote the entire story. The third story that will be included in my book is called Feast. Feast is a Thanksgiving horror-themed story that follows Charlotte, who is a recluse but is invited to Thanksgiving dinner by her grandmother. She originally states that she isn't going to go, but as the day approaches, she has a change in heart. This pulls her into a Thanksgiving like no other. Feast is a terrifying story that is very grotesque, and the imagery put into the story will give you the creeps. When I was reading the final draft, I was getting the vibes of staying the night at your grandparents' house when you were younger. You know, it's like an environment that you're used to and familiar with, but for some reason at night, isn't right. And for this story, just imagine that things actually aren't right. And when we were kids, we sat there and imagined the worst thing in the world was ever about to happen, even though we didn't know what it was. But in Feast, it actually does. The fourth story in my book, The Hollow Season, is called Obscura. Three friends get together as they always do, but when they're looking for something to keep them entertained for the evening, one friend tells the others about this app called Obscura. For those that remember the Randonautica app, it's pretty much that. The app takes you to a random location where something spooky or crazy is supposed to happen. The first stop leads them to nothing. The second, a little creepy, but still much of the same. Finally, when they almost agree to call it a night, they decide on one more stop. This unlocks a night none of them are prepared for. Obscura is what I've been calling my Carrie story. For those of you that may not know, Stephen King actually wrote the book Carrie and actually scrapped the story, stating that it was too uncomfortable. His wife then pulled the story out of the trash and told him to keep writing it. I had a very similar moment with Obscura. One scene in particular where I was just not comfortable writing it. I thought about family and other readers reading it and thinking it may have been a little too much. I debated with myself for weeks if I should release the story. I even wrote a backup story to replace it. Ultimately, when I put the book together, I decided to add it to the final cut of The Hollow Season. I guess we're going to see how that turns out. The fifth story included is called Graves. It's very different from what I've written before because it's actually a collection of poems written by fictional author Lucien Graves. We'll see the entire life's work of Lucien Graves, from the young upstart poet who catches fire early on in his career but struggles to find success. Through his poetry, we'll see the dark side of striving for success and the need to be loved. I don't know if Graves will be loved by everyone, given that poetry, I feel at least, isn't as respected as it used to be, but maybe this collection will be something that can revitalize the genre that seems to be, at least in my eyes, dead for quite some time. The final story in the Hollow Season is called DONUM 2, the sequel to my Christmas horror story from Whisper in the Shadows, DONUM. This is a story I definitely would recommend listening or reading to before you read DONUM 2. You can either read it in my book Whisper in the Shadows, or again, you can listen to the full story here on my YouTube channel. The link will also be in the description for that as well. DONUM 2 is more of a fun horror story, as long as you don't mind getting scared too much. The demon Donum Diable returns to torment another family this Christmas, but Donum may not be the only one returning. This terrifying ride will leave you into a feeling of being trapped and not know what is coming next. All 6 of these stories are included in my book, The Hollow Season, which is available now on Amazon. And like I said earlier, you can actually have a chance to win a free signed copy of my book. All you have to do is like the video, be subscribed, and comment on this video, and you'll be entered. Like I said, the winners will be announced this Wednesday in the episode of Far From Fiction. Speaking of Far From Fiction, it's time to talk to the viewers that have been a fan of the channel for quite some time. All the subscribers out there, first of all, I appreciate every single one of you guys for subscribing and joining a part of this community and this journey that I've been on for almost a year now with this channel. With that being said, there are going to be some major changes happening. You may have already noticed them. First thing, I guess we'll start with the best news. Far From Fiction, my true crime series I do weekly, is going to be absolutely the same. That's going to remain weekly episodes every Wednesday. You're going to get a brand new true crime case. Nothing's changing there. The second bit of news actually is maybe not as bad as it sounds, but it is going to sound bad up front. My weekly series Echoes of the Past is going to be canceled. So we will not be doing a weekly episode of Echoes of the Past anymore. But in the same time, it may be better because you're going to actually get more content out of this. If you've been subscribed to this channel, then you may be aware that I have a new series that I've been doing every single day called 50 Haunts in 50 Days, where I look at each state's most haunted location day after day. And so obviously after 50 days, that series will come to an end. My plan is to still release, even after the series ends, I plan to release 4 to 7 paranormal videos every single week in the form of shorts. So they won't be a long form video, but there will be many shorts. They will cover paranormal location, ghost stories, haunted items, and possessions. And then the other piece of news that I'm here to share, which I don't know how this will be perceived, but I think in the long run, I think this will be much better. The Friday Night Campfire Stories series will no longer be posted weekly, but instead it will be released on the final Friday of each month. It's also important to note that the stories from my books will no longer be the stories that I'm going to be telling on the YouTube channel. There's many reasons behind this, the main one being it kind of made the books redundant. I feel like having separate stories would be much better. Another reason is because I release a horror book every fall, but every spring I release a thriller book, and that's what we've been reading through for the past few months is the stories from my book, A Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, and honestly, it kind of hasn't really fit the vibe of the channel. The channel's always been supposed to be the spooky, the eerie, the mysterious vibes that I'm trying to create through stories, paranormal activity, and through true crime stories, and I feel like the thriller stories just don't do that. Just kind of set it all off. You know, you go from 6 straight horror stories about monsters and demons and darkness chasing these teenagers to a story about a guy that can do astral projection. And even though the story I think is great, I just don't think it fits the vibe of the channel. And so because of that, I've made the decision that I want to have separate stories for everything. So my books will have their own stories that you can purchase and read through as much as you want. But then on YouTube, I will be doing a short story every single month. So again, it won't be a weekly thing. Before, it was every week there would be a new chapter from one of the stories that I've already published. Now it's going to be one story at the end of each month. And my goal with that is to just make the scariest stories and make stuff that would be very YouTube friendly that you guys will enjoy and look forward to every single month. And those stories I tell every single month, those will be YouTube exclusive stories. You won't be able to hear them anywhere else. I'm not going to publish them anywhere else. So I think in the end, I think this is the right thing to do. And I think it's something that you guys will truly enjoy. But of course, you just got to kind of give it some time. So the first one will come out at the end of the month. So definitely stay tuned for that. Just to kind of recap, Far From Fiction will still be every Wednesday. Nothing's going to change there. Echoes of the Past will be moved into short forms, as we're already kind of doing that with our series 50 Haunts in 50 Days, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out, definitely would recommend doing it. Each episode's only like 2 minutes long, and we're like 2 weeks into it, so it should only take about 30 minutes to get caught up if you're interested in that. But that is going to do it for today. Hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, click that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to enter the giveaway by leaving a comment and liking and subscribing. Head over to my TikTok page at Friday Campfire Stories to find out how to enter the giveaway over there as well. And don't forget, pick up a copy of my book, The Hollow Season, which is available now on Amazon. As always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.